One NFL insider claims that the Broncos head coaching job will be completely undesirable. What's up, guys? Welcome to Denver Broncos Syndicate, part of the Sports Syndicate family of channels where we're dedicated to bringing you content about our favorite sports teams. I am your host, Gage Madrid. Before we jump in, guys, if you could just do me a big favor and smash that like button as well as subscribe and ring the notification bell, that would be absolutely awesome. We just recently hit our big goal of 1,000 subscribers, so it would be awesome if you could help us continue to grow by smashing that sub. Now, it's no secret that Denver Broncos head coach Nathaniel Hackett is likely to go one and done. The team has completely underperformed in his first season as head coach, and in particular, Russell Wilson and the offense have grossly underperformed. Things came to a head for the Broncos last Sunday night when they lost in really ugly fashion 23-10 to the Sam Darnold-led Carolina Panthers. The Broncos find themselves at the bottom of power rankings all across the NFL, and they are viewed as, quite frankly, the worst team in the NFL, even worse than the Houston Texans, because at least the Texans have a vision as to where they're going. They're probably going to end up getting the #1 overall pick, and they're probably going to end up selecting Bryce Young, and at least they'll have a franchise quarterback moving forward. With the Broncos, Russell Wilson has completely failed to live up to expectations. George Paton went out and signed him to an albatross of a contract extension this offseason, and to make matters worse, we're probably going to end up sending a top 5 draft pick to the Seattle Seahawks this offseason. Now, one thing that some people in Broncos country are really clinging to in this really troubling situation is the fact that maybe, just maybe, this team will look better once we get a competent head coach in the building, and maybe Russell Wilson's play will elevate back to the level that's at least enough to where we could win a championship or at least be competitive. Now, unfortunately, recent reports have come out that have really painted a picture of just how dire the situation is in Denver. Reports are saying that the Broncos head coaching job is amongst the least desirable in the entire NFL. Shout out to all the guys over there at Mile High Huddle. They do an absolutely fantastic job. Wilson looks done, an anonymous NFL scouting director told NFL insider Matt Lombardo, but they are married to him, so they need to build around him for next year. But good luck getting free agents. Recruiting free agents is a bridge Denver will have to cross when the time comes, but before that window opens, the Broncos have bigger fish to fry and potential obstacles to overcome. According to that scouting director in Lombardo's piece, none of the projected top head coaching candidates in the 2023 cycle will want the Broncos job. Remember, none of the really good candidates will want that job, the scouting director told Heavy. Now, this Mile High Huddle article goes on to explain that money isn't obviously going to be an issue here, as we have the most cash-rich owners in NFL history, and they could fork out enough money to bring in whoever they wanted to. The top candidate that a lot of Broncos country want to replace Nathaniel Hackett is Sean Payton. Unfortunately, the New Orleans Saints still hold the contractual rights to Sean Payton, and the Broncos would have to trade significant draft capital, which they don't have because of the Russell Wilson trade, to get him. Money isn't an issue here, we just simply don't have what New Orleans would want to give up Sean Payton. It's simple as that. Now, some of the other candidates that have been floated around in the Denver media include Dan Quinn, the Dallas Cowboys defensive coordinator who was interviewed last year, Eric Bieniemy, former Kansas City Chiefs offensive coordinator, although personally I don't really want that one because of some history with Bieniemy off the field and some other reasons that I'm not going to get into in this video, but there are definitely reasons why I don't want Eric Bieniemy. Also, current New York Giants offensive coordinator Mike Kafka, and both coordinators for the Eagles, Shane Steichen offensively and Jonathan Gannon defensively. Now, the problem is, from what it sounds like, none of these candidates actually want to work for the Broncos, and the main reason for that is Russell Wilson. Based on what we know about Russ, he's not the easiest player to coach, and he doesn't take to hard coaching well. That's exactly why he wanted out of Seattle to begin with. So it's definitely concerning when you hear these reports that a lot of these top candidates, such as Dan Quinn, who worked with Russell Wilson in Seattle previously and knows what he's all about, it's really concerning when you hear reports that these guys don't want to work with the Broncos. And when you put two and two together, you can pretty clearly figure out why it is. On top of that, we obviously have new ownership this year, and none of these coaching candidates know how hands-on the ownership is going to be. We don't know if we're getting the next Jerry Jones, an owner who really meddles in the football operations, or are we going to get someone who just is basically the financial backer of the project and is going to get out of the way and let the football people do their jobs. We just don't know what the Walton Penner ownership group is going to bring to the table in that aspect. Because of all the unknowns with ownership and all the knowns with Russell Wilson, it's going to be really tough to both attract free agents to the Broncos and attract a top-tier coaching candidate to the Broncos, and that's really scary to think about. What have the Denver Broncos become? This historically has been one of the best organizations in the NFL to work for, and over the past few years, pretty much ever since Gary Kubiak, this has been known as an organization that turns over coaches at a really high rate, and overall is just a place that doesn't have a good workplace culture, and that sucks. As a fan of this team, that sucks. As someone who covers this team, that absolutely sucks. I'm hoping that this isn't the case and we are able to attract a coaching candidate that can extract the best out of Russell Wilson. But based on where this is coming from, I don't know if that's going to happen. And that really does suck, because if that's the case, then this Russell Wilson contract will really have hamstrung this organization for a long time. I will stand by the trade from the beginning. I will always stand by trading for Russell Wilson, including giving up all the assets that we gave for him. What, in hindsight, is definitely not looking like the right move now is extending him before he even took a single snap with the team. Had the team not extended him beforehand, it would have been a lot easier to move on from him, potentially, if not this offseason, the next offseason, and financially, we wouldn't be married to him. Now we've backed ourselves into a corner that, unless Russell Wilson's play magically somehow does a 360, and we can recruit some top-tier free agents to this team and bring in a top-tier coaching candidate, the Broncos are in a lot of trouble. All right, Broncos country, time to get those demons off your chest. Do you really think that this is true? Do you think that Russell Wilson and the current situation that the Broncos in are just going to detract away any potential good head coaching options for us? Drop those comments down below. I would love to hear from you. Be sure to leave a like on this video, as well as subscribe and ring the bell so these videos appear in your notification feed. And while you're at it, be sure to follow me on Twitter at Gage Madrid NFL for even more Broncos coverage. And for now, this has been another episode of Denver Broncos Syndicate. I'm your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.